spent 10 years together in Smite, but now it's time for something new. It's time for something new.
It's time for something new.
In what world do you shut down a successful business and say, hey, we're just going to let it fade out and then just throw everything else out? Like, you don't do that. It makes no sense.
It feels sort of like we're on a sinking ship with Smite.
There isn't enough content, and
Hirez is in trouble, and the leadership has made poor decisions for several years in a row.
So there's not enough content. We're not moving fast enough, right? We're going to be moving faster.
Smite 2 announced that this year's Smite World Championships is at a critical juncture. Despite the initial excitement, 130,000 players joined the alpha in its first week. Player numbers have plummeted to under 2,000 on Steam. Meanwhile, the original Smite is hitting record low player counts. Major content creators have moved on, and many are questioning whether this marks the end of the Smite franchise. The real shock came this week when Stuart Chisholm, president of Hirez Studios, announced major layoffs and restructuring. Smite has been Hirez's most successful title, especially among console players, as it was the only viable MOBA option for that platform. But Hirez has a history of failed projects, chasing trends, hyping up releases, only to sabotage them with lackluster content drops. Fans fear Smite 2 will meet the same fate. This year, Rogue Company, another Hirez title, quietly dropped its Dr. Disrespect-themed content amid controversy. Regardless of which side you stand on the Dr. Disrespect issue, most people were just surprised the servers were still up. This, coupled with Smite 2's troubled alpha launch, has fans concerned about the future of both the game and Hirez Studios. From the start, Smite 2 faced backlash when Hirez announced that players' cherished skins from Smite 1 would not carry over.
So that's what people are mad about? They're mad about skins?
In response, Hirez made a bold offer.
You'll receive legacy gems in Smite 2 equal to every single gem you've ever spent in Smite 1, free or purchased. Your legacy gems can be used to pay for 50% of most in-game purchases in Smite 2.
The studio explained that after 10 years, Smite 1 needed a technological overhaul. Its outdated engine and codebase made it difficult to attract new programming talent and limited creative possibilities. However, 10 months after the announcement, fans are worried. Smite 1 is receiving minimal updates with only balanced patches planned, and the Smite 2 Alpha is clearly a long way from being a viable full-time game. The Smite 2 Alpha has a small roster of 20 gods compared to Smite 1's 128, leading to repetitive gameplay and limited match variety. It could take 2 years or more to port all of the original gods into the new game. This leaves players stuck between two unsatisfying options.
go, red or blue.
A dying Smite 1 or an unfinished Smite 2. New players, meanwhile, face a steep learning curve.
Nick, look!
What? What am I looking at?
Look at her! She literally moves up the lane and auto attacks the fucking... I don't know if this is a person!
You don't think this is a person?
I mean... They are legitimately fucking... Like, they are ignoring everything else that is going on.
The Alpha lacks a matchmaking system, leading to uneven matches that put new players against Smite 1 veterans, a sure way to turn newcomers away. Content drops for the Smite 2 Alpha are painfully slow, which has only fueled frustration. I want to take a moment to address some of the recent changes made by the Smite 2 team. After months of growing frustration in the community, reaching new highs over the past couple weeks, Hirez finally responded.
We're going to be moving faster. So people aren't waiting for the game to get better in the same way they have been recently.
They've committed to more frequent communication, a faster update schedule, and are promised to release 25 more gods before January. After the latest update, the game does feel noticeably better. Smite has always thrived on its strong connection to the community, and that's something that's just felt missing over the last year. Seeing Hirez recommit to engaging with players is a good sign. However, I still believe there's reason to be cautious. In the past, some of the worst decisions have seemed to come from the top, and with recent layoffs and immense pressure on Smite 2 to succeed, there's still like a cloud of uncertainty, although I'm hopeful. While the $30 Founder Pack offers great value by unlocking all current and future gods, Many players feel swindled, given the alpha's current state. With Hirez's layoffs and possible financial struggles, some suspect the company is using these early purchases to shore up funds, which is a bitter pill for loyal fans. Hirez's financial situation remains speculative, but layoffs are rampant across the gaming industry. Hirez, like others, may have overexpanded during the COVID-19 gaming boom and now need to scale back. Even the Smite Pro League, once a focal point for the community, has been dialed back to smaller, open tournaments, as Hirez focuses its remaining resources on Smite 2. Chisholm also expressed frustration earlier this year when Valve, which owns Steam, announced Deadlock, an action MOBA seen as a direct competitor to Smite 2. This move, coming after Hirez had laid out its plans for Smite 2, has added another layer of pressure. So where does that leave Smite? Can Hirez pull off the transition to Smite 2 successfully, or will the poor first impressions of the alpha push longtime fans away for good? Will new players find the game accessible, or will the steep learning curve keep them from fully engaging with the game? This future of Smite as a franchise is uncertain, but one thing is clear. Hirez can't afford to abandon Smite 2 like it has with past projects. For better or worse, we'll see what the future holds.